Hello, friends, and welcome back to another Reddit reaction video. Yay! This is going to be the second one, hopefully, if I can get the first video to work. Originally, it told me it was too long, and I'm not very tech savvy, so there's that. I got my latte, and I'm ready to roll. Let's do this. So today we're gonna do. I picked wedding shaming because I honestly hate weddings. I know it's a controversial topic. I'm not like, ugh, I hate love. I'm not. It's not like that. It's just like a lot of sitting. It's a lot of sitting, and I have, you know, what used to be ADD, but is now ADHD without the H. In a 10 of ADHD anyway. And I just like I feel like I have to move. And I'm not saying that to be quirky. Like I'm mentally ill. Like, I've actually been diagnosed and I take medication for it when I remember. So, anyway, um, so let's go through and see what we got here. Bride and groom auction opportunity to eat first. Bride and groom auction opportunity. What? Is that a thing? Somebody has said this looks like Twitter, and somebody has said selling to a room full of emotional people drinking on empty stomachs who love you. Genius. And then somebody replies to this saying, if you are hating on this idea, you hate fun. The room was filled with laughter and shouting and enthusiasm, and everyone, jeez, this is written terribly, at the wedding is talking about how not clever, coever it was. Oh, wait, there's multiple images here, I think. Let me see. The bride and groom just sat everyone down and said, all right, folks, we know everyone's hungry, so we're auctioning off the first plate of dinner. Whoever buys it gets their table served first. Proceeds go to our Alaska fishing trip honeymoon. Plate sold for $1,500. Brilliant. This is just going to make me hate weddings more. Weddings have become so weird. I'd be so embarrassed. Color schemes for the guests, so many rules, money grabs from guests. And somebody says, I agree. People thinking this is cute or funny is why bride and groomzillas are becoming more bold. I've heard the term bridezilla, but I've never heard the term groomzilla. But that's wild. Can you imagine $1,500 for a plate of food? I don't know if I'm just broke, but what the? What? Somebody said that's when you get up, get your gift, and walk out. That's crazy. That's something else. Can you imagine $1,500 for food, and then the proceeds are going to an Alaskan fishing trip? I mean, I'm kind of uneducated on this topic because I've never been to Alaska, but like, how much does the trip cost? I feel like $1,500 could cover like the entire thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just uneducated in the world of traveling and fishing. Let's see what else we got here. Um, Sister-in-law wore near white wedding dress to the wedding. Why do people do this? Just don't wear white. And I don't actually know anyone who just like wears a lot of white, like just in general. So how hard could it be to find a dress that's not? This looks like a wedding dress? It looks like a wedding dress. Like if I went to a wedding and I saw this person dressed like in this dress, I would think that this was the bride. Wedding culture these days. I feel like is there any extra information here? Oh, here we go. My mother-in-law cried the day we got married, and that doesn't sound so bad, so I'm curious to see. Looks like there is a caption here. She cried loudly the night before our destination wedding about how disappointed she was that her son chose me out of all his options. Mm. Then proceeded to not sign the guest book or gift us anything, even a card. That's unhinged. That's Yeah, that's a monster in law for sure. It's definitely a monster in law. Like, I'm sorry, but wouldn't you be happy that, like, I don't know, your child is getting married and moving on to the next phase of of their life, but instead you're like, "No, I'm the only woman in your life. I'm the only woman you can love. You're not allowed to marry someone else. No, give me the gift certificate." Yeah, that's weird. I'm sorry. That's like it's like this whole boy mom culture thing. It's toxic. Let's see what else we got. Uh, I went to someone else's wedding dressed like the bride. I'm curious if there's an explanation. Not that any explanation would be reasonable, but this was years ago. But I had to share the story where I was tragically shame-worthy. Okay, well at least you admit it. I attended an Indian wedding in the United States as a plus one to a very good friend who was going through a bad breakup and didn't want to be around his ex, her family, and her friends alone. Same community, no way to avoid each other. Generally, in Indian weddings, especially lavish ones, there's no way to upstage the bride. But no one told me that the bride decided to forego Indian attire and wear traditional Western bridal wear. The ceremony was a small, intimate gathering between the bridegroom and they are immediate families. Most of us were only invited to the reception, which was much larger with about 250 people. We arrived about 20 minutes late to the reception because of an accident near the George Washington Bridge. So there we were, entertain, entering about 10 minutes after the bride and groom, and me in my big, puffy, white, and blush, very bridal looking dress. So horribly awkward that every woman who got near me glared like they wished I'd disappear. Believe me, I wanted to. I tried to stay in my seat as much as possible and only get up for things like toast or to use the bathroom. I was so obviously bridal looking that when I was exiting the bathrooms, an old man said, "Oh, excuse me, I didn't know there was more than one wedding taking place here today." I eventually told my friend it was best I left because the bride didn't deserve to feel disrespected. I asked my friend to please get her mailing information so I could send her a big gift as my way of saying sorry, and she told him no thanks. Even though it wasn't on purpose, that day I was definitely in the wrong. Somebody says this might be the most horrid yet noble confession I've seen on Reddit. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty dress, but you made an assumption and it didn't work out for you. But at least you're taking accountability for what happened. I give you props for that. But again, how hard is it to just not wear white just in case. Just in case. Even if you thought it was going to be something else, just in case. Queen Vic. This one says attended the bachelorette, didn't make the cut for the wedding. I'll make sure I read that right. So now we have to try out for weddings? What's going on here? Hey, blank. This is probably going to be awkward and I wanted to avoid the situation, but we're both adults. Blank and I noticed you RSVP'd to the wedding, but we didn't send you a wedding invitation, so I know we were friends and close at one point, but we haven't spoken in months. It's only going to be our close friends and family there. So I hope it's no hard feelings, but it's a set guest wedding. Thank you for understanding, and I'm sorry. Hope you're doing good. I kind of feel like it's weird to say that you're not close friends, but that you felt like you had to send them a text to let them know that they're not invited to the wedding. Clearly, that implies that you have some kind of close relationship. I don't know. That's kind of weird. Oh, there's more. There's there's like they posted this text message and then there's like a post to go with it. So, let's see. One of the craziest things happened to my friends and I this year. Last year we went to the bachelorette party for a mutual friend of ours. We've known her for years, have traveled with her, kept up group chats despite living in different cities, and we were excited to celebrate this. We brought gifts, drove hours to participate, and spent $400+ on this bachelorette each. Side note, never doing a destination bachelorette in my life. I urge you all to never do that either. Why are you financially punishing your friends? For added context, this is a wedding for two brides. So the batch was a shared bachelorette for both brides. Okay. At the bachelorette, we weren't drinking and the other girls were. We thought this was fine, and it was also explicitly understood before we went that we wouldn't be drinking much or at all in my two friends' case. Well, halfway through the bachelorette party, our bride comes crying to us saying that the other bride is frustrated that she is not spending enough time with her at the bachelorette. She's going to be married to her for life, allegedly. And I get the sense that it's because of this natural divide between drinkers and non drinkers, with our bride having the non drinkers and therefore needing to choose. This is weird already. We also barely got to see each other due to living in different cities, but she already lived with her now wife. I was bitter about that, obviously. Girl, you'll see her at home. Mind you, at a dinner once a girl from the other bride's side asked me outright, "Why aren't you drinking?" I found that classless and invasive. I'm not a sober person, but these friends and I don't drink when we're together. What if I was someone who struggled? Why would you ask that? Exactly. Some people don't drink. Like, I mean, and there's like various reasons. Like, I don't drink personally because I'm not supposed to drink with my medication. And I don't know. I don't know like half of my family history, so there could be all sorts of alcoholism and things that I don't want to mess with. So, also towards the end of his life, my dad struggled with alcohol, so I'm not getting into that mess. So some people just don't drink. It's not for everybody. Like, this is weird. But moving on, this batch party was a year prior to the planned wedding date. We all had the date in our calendars and knew we'd need to travel to her city to be there, so began planning on that. The year passed with her not responding to two of us or reaching out. I started to suspect something, but we literally were at the bachelorette party and had the wedding date marked on our calendars. My twin was getting married this summer too, and I explicitly told them that I'd like to avoid the overlap of weddings as they'd planned theirs since I knew I'd be traveling for this one. Girl, the RSVP link drops to one of our friends out of the three of us. She shares it to our group since the wedding is extremely unstructured and she's sharing it to multiple other people. I RSVP yes, and then I get this text. She doesn't reach out to our other friend at all, literally at all. It's just expected that I communicate with her because since she's also not invited. See how she says she wanted to avoid this situation? The plan was to be radio silent all along. This is shocking to us. Initially, I responded like, "Oh, that's okay," but then I reflected and realized this was a burning of a bridge moment because we are being intentionally shut out and wouldn't have been told if I hadn't RSVP'd. Notice how the story is that it's close friends and family only. Come to find out, 150 people were invited. One of the brides also makes a Facebook post calling out her homophobic cousin who got an invitation by asking to go on Facebook Messenger. So in summary, people who didn't even know well enough to people who they didn't even know well enough to know were fundamentally misaligned with their beliefs and values got a casual sure invitation via chat. LOL. We haven't heard anything from either of them since. I Venmo requested $350 back for a bachelorette refund, but got denied. It was to be petty, but I also legitimately want that back now. Unfortunately, we will probably never know the truth and never recoup our lost funds. I'll never again think of a bachelorette party invitation as an automatic into the wedding party either, much less the literal event itself. Let me know if you have similar experiences. Trade me your own juicy stories. That's wild. I mean, I feel like anybody would assume they'd be invited to the wedding. And this specifically says that she let them know that I don't want the weddings to overlap, that I'm attending. So you're letting this person know ahead of time that you're planning on attending their wedding. And they're like, no, not good enough. That's that's so awful. Someone said, "Who has who has a bachelorette party a full year before the wedding?" Very odd. Somebody says I got invited to the bridal shower, but not the wedding for my neighbor. That's weird too. Somebody said, "Money well spent. Now you never have to see those two weirdos ever again." True. For the bargain price of $350, you learn that she's not your friend. Yeah, that's terrible. Like I have two close friends that I went to school with and that I essentially grew up with, and one of them moved down south to Florida, and the other one's still up here. And like if she was getting married, I would want to go and I would want to plan the whole thing, plan to go down there and do all that stuff. And just the idea that yeah, I would like if she was like, if after going to the bachelorette party she sprung it on me that I'm not invited to the wedding after I made all these plans, I'd be mad too. Like that would be the end of the friendship for sure. And I've been friends with this person for like 15 years. So that's crazy. Yeah. And that's also another point I want to make, that like just because you've been friends with someone for a long time, it doesn't make it okay for them to like treat you like dirt. Like just cut them off. A red flag's a red flag. Wow. Well, there we have it. I would love to keep going with this, but I have a feeling that I'm not going to be able to post another long video because it didn't let me the first time, and I don't want to go through all that and then like it not work. So, um, thank you for attending or what? I don't know. I'm crazy. What can I say? So yeah, I will be back next time with another video, probably another Reddit reaction video. But we'll see how it goes. All right, thanks so much. Have a wonderful day, friends.